brought to you by oneaauto.com, your source for quality parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of oneaauto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we are going to replace the axle lock actuator in this 2008 Dodge Ram. All you'll need is a 13mm socket and ratchet, and you may also need some 75W140 oil to refill your diff housing when you're done. You can do this repair on the ground or on some jack stands. In our case, we have a lift, so we have it jacked up in the air. Makes it a little easier to work around. Up here is the actual axle locker actuator, kind of a tongue twister. There's only there's four 13mm bolts that you have to take out, and then the electrical connector on the end. The other thing to note is that once we disconnect the actuator from the axle housing, fluid may come out, so you're going to want to have a pan to catch that fluid. We're going to start by disconnecting the electrical connection right here. You just push the tab down and pull it off. Well, that's the idea at least. There we go. And once that's disconnected, you can move on to the four 13mm bolts. I'm just going to start by loosening them all up so that it doesn't come off unexpectedly. Once the bolts are loose, you should be able to just pry it away from the housing and you'll see some fluid come out. You can just let this drain for a few minutes, and once it's fully drained, then you can pull the rest of the bolts out and pull the lock actuator right off the axle. This is a MPFWA 00003 right here. It is a brand new Mopar axle locker actuator. As you can see, it is exactly like the original one that we took off, just a little cleaner. It comes with the gasket and the little brackets right here. And it looks and fits and works just like the original one because it's a real Mopar item. So if your actuator is not working properly, this one from 1A Auto will get you back on the road again. We're going to start by wiping down the surface where the lock actuator is going to mate against the housing. Make sure it's nice and clean and free of debris. And then we'll slide the housing, or the axle actuator, back into place with the four 13mm bolts. You may notice that this is actually the old part that we just took off. And that's because this one works perfectly fine. We're just going to put it right back on where it was. Now we're going to start tightening down the 13mm bolts. We'll wipe down any excess oil from the housing and finally clip back on the connector. When we removed our axle actuator, this is the amount of fluid that came out of it. As you can see, it's like 2 or 3 ounces probably. We went to go refill it with the 75W140 gear lube, but our housing was actually overfilled to begin with, so we won't be adding any more to it. If you do need to add some to yours, you pull this little rubber cap out of the diff cover and you can fill it up right there until it leaks out, just like this does. And then when you're done, pop the cap back in and wipe down the housing so it's not leaking on the ground.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit oneaauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.